how India is waking up as a huge giant. And India of today, of yesterday is not India of today. And India of tomorrow is a great power.
India and Israel have taken a major step towards deepening their economic partnership. On November 28th, the two countries signed the terms of reference to formally launch negotiations for a free trade agreement. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal and Israeli Economy Minister Barkat signed the agreement in Tel Aviv. Goyal is leading a 60-member business delegation to explore opportunities in technology, agriculture, defense and infrastructure. The ministers confirmed that they will soon finalize the dates to begin formal negotiations.
I viewed how India is waking up as a huge giant. And India of today, of yesterday is not India of today. And India of tomorrow is a great power. And we want to joint venture with India to help India become stronger and bigger. And at the same time, collaborate and make Israel stronger and better. So there's a huge potential. I found a really good friend, Minister Piyush Goyal and I see eye to eye of how to develop the complementary countries. You have scale, we have innovation, and the combination of the two is very, very important and big. But we also look at India not just as an Indian market, which is the largest population in the world, but as a gateway to all of Asia. And so for Israeli entrepreneurs to understand how to do business with India is key, is very important for our interests. And I'm very thankful, and I'm a big optimist as to where we could take this relationship.
So when can we see the next round of talk today you signed PO, next round of talk between the officials of two countries?
Well, the sooner the better. We haven't set dates, but we understand that we have to do work in parallel. We have to establish the relationships, the exposure. You see, we need to match between innovation and opportunities in India, and we have, I have in my office, we have three offices in India, in Bangalore, in Delhi and Bombay, that are really helping both sides understand the opportunities. And working here with the Indian team, the embassy here, there's a lot of discussion, a lot of work, and I like it. I see what I see, I really like. And so it's going to take off. In parallel, we're going to upgrade. The trust we have between the two governments is such that we could start, working in parallel.
भारत और इजरायल के बीच आज फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट पे चर्चा शुरू करने के लिए पहला कदम उठाया गया है। हमने टर्म्स ऑफ रेफरेंस आज तय करके उस पर हस्ताक्षर किए। मेरे मित्र इजरायल के मिनिस्टर श्री बरकत जी और मेरे बीच जो आपसी संबंध बना है, जिस प्रकार से माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी और प्रधानमंत्री नेतन्याहू जी के बीच संबंध है, और जिस प्रकार से दोनों देशों के बीच सहभागिता की संभावनाएं हैं, कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री पॉसिबिलिटीज़ हैं, जिस प्रकार से दोनों देशों के चुनौतियां भी एक जैसी हैं, उसको मद्देनज़र रखते हुए हम समझते हैं कि ये एक अच्छी शुरुआत हो सकती है, अच्छा एक द्विपक्षीय व्यापार का करार बनेगा और नए अवसर बड़े पैमाने पे खोलेगा।
The bilateral trade agreement between India and Israel has grown dramatically since diplomatic relations were established in 1992. From just $200 million in 1992, trade peaked at $10.77 billion in FY 22-23. However, recent years have seen a decline. In FY 24-25, bilateral trade stood at $3.75 billion, excluding defense, due to regional security issues and trade route disruptions. India is Israel's second largest trading partner in Asia and sixth largest globally. For Israel, India represents the sixth largest export destination worldwide. The trade has diversified beyond diamonds to include high-tech products, electronic machinery, medical equipment, chemicals, and agricultural technology. The proposed FTA aims to eliminate tariff and non-tariff barriers, facilitate investment, simplify customs procedures, and boost cooperation in innovation and technology transfer. Both sides have agreed to respect each other's sensitivities. Israel will not seek market access in sensitive Indian sectors like dairy, rice, wheat, and sugar. This isn't India and Israel's first attempt at an FTA. Negotiations began in May 2010, with 8 rounds held before talks stalled. They resumed in October 2021, and the signing of the terms of reference marks a fresh commitment to conclude what both sides call a win-win, fair and balanced agreement between the two countries.
Mr. Piyush Goyal, I can't say it better than you. You just shared with the people here the common ground, the common values, our history, our government-to-government relationship, and as important, the people-to-people relationship. I mentioned earlier today that Israelis love to go to India, and all come back happy, secure, and so I think that the opportunity is there. When I saw India 3 years ago and India today, it's not the same India. You folks have your act together. You're scaling so rapidly. You're laying infrastructure for growth for decades. And I love what I see. I love what I see. The Israeli entrepreneurs, when we came to visit in February, were amazed at how much we could do together. And I know many deals were formed in that trip. And we said, I remember December last year, let's exchange missions, and then we will know how to help our entrepreneurs and our business people do good business together. And I think that the foundation of a free trade agreement that we've signed today will enable us to do things that we not have done with other countries in the world. And I think that you said earlier that even the sky is not the limit. We can go to space. And many, many ideas are on the table right now. And I can only wish that we will be able to fulfill the big potential together. Thank you for coming here, and maybe leave some questions and answers. Time for question and answer. Thank you. No questions. It's so simple. No, they have no questions.
Sir, this sector will your partnership, how you are going to help India in deep tech in defense?
Well, we have the similar challenges, as you know. And this war, Israel's come up with new innovative ideas. Better not to talk about them publicly. I think everyone in the world saw what we did to Iran. Okay? We've demonstrated that we have deep penetration, excellent intelligence, excellent weaponry for defense, and as important, the best defense is offense. And we only share these ideas with our best friends. And I could certainly tell you that India is one of the best friends Israel has around the world.
When friends do business together, they understand each other and they understand the sensitivities that each country may have. And my good friend, Minister Barkat, and I have already agreed that whatever is sensitive for Israel, India will keep out of the agreement, and likewise whatever is sensitive for India, Israel has agreed to keep out of the agreement. We want this to be a win-win agreement. It should be good for both countries. It should provide opportunities to our youth, to our farmers, to our different sectors that we are working on: technology, defense, manufacturing. And therefore, with this shared understanding, I think this will be an agreement which will lead to the shared prosperity of both countries.
We want to help. We want to make sure that 1 + 1 = 3. We don't produce a lot of products. We produce technology that increases yield, that increases productivity. We're a tiny nation, only 10 million, don't forget, right? And so one of the biggest, one of our major business clusters is agrotech, food tech, aquatech, creating food from the sea, improving the yield. And as much as India would like to use such technologies, we would be there. When you don't want it, we won't be there. Certainly. Certainly, Minister Piyush Goyal didn't mention this, but the concept of Make in India is one of the smartest concepts I've learned, and I think it is relevant for many, many Israeli companies. See, you're 150 times bigger than us. So in projects that are large scale, it makes no sense to make them in Israel. It makes a lot of sense to create joint venture in India, not only for the Indian market, but as a gateway for all of Asia. And we feel comfortable because Israeli companies can't open up on every country. So we prefer to see that the free trade agreement that we're talking about will make India a priority for Israeli entrepreneurs. We call it sort of a hub to Asia. And so I think that's a classic win-win. Many of the companies I spoke to understand that big potential. And we have to make that ecosystem simple. The governments have to make it simple. That's part of the free trade agreement.
I think they also don't have a very large population. So making in India at large scale will provide economies of scale,
Yep.
and will provide talent and skill manpower, which will lead to jobs in India, which is an essential component of our partnership. As many of you may have observed, India today enters into partnership with developed countries, economically developed, technologically developed countries. And therefore, this partnership with Israel becomes even more important.
In morning session, you told India have talent and Israel have technology. So how many technology companies are willing to help India in manufacturing sector and they are willing to invest? Is there any talk?
Well, it's a natural. When I was an entrepreneur, okay, we looked, where do we go in the world? Where do we go? You can't go to 250 countries, right? So you have a foot in America, in the United States. You have to have a foot in Europe. For Israel, it's probably going to be Germany, okay? And where do you go in Asia, which is by far the biggest part of the world, 59% of the world? The answer is India. And once we help our entrepreneurs, what we're doing in this process is asking them, what do we need to do? What do we need to do on the Israeli side to make this work? What do we need to do on the Indian side to make this work? And that's the collaboration between the two governments to help our companies, the business-to-business companies, succeed. And in that process, whatever we need to upgrade, we will do.
Siddharth earlier from Times Now. Back in 1992, when diplomatic ties were established between the two countries, bilateral trade stood at what many would describe as a minuscule $200 million. And we used to basically trade in diamonds, among other jewels at that point in time. Almost 3 decades later, that figure has now gone up to $6.5 billion on a yearly basis. Given the fact that you now lay the foundations of an eventual FTA, what kind of bilateral trade targets do both of you have in mind? Say in the next 5 years, which currently stands at 6.5 billion, what are you aiming at over the next half a decade?
Israel does $150 billion export, okay? Before COVID, we had 7 years of 10% growth year after year on export. We want to implement that now and to reach $1 trillion export in less than 20 years, okay? That's my goal. So it needs to be an order of magnitude. Today, I think we're about 3 billion trade. Bilateral. We could certainly add a zero to it to make this work. And for that, we really need to listen to what the business community says to us. The more we have big ears to listen to what they say, it's not going to be governmental. It has to be business that work well. I also think that we're going to have a lot of defense, probably G2G. But I would recommend us to focus on the private sector to make it successful.
India's exports are also 825 billion last year. And you will all appreciate that export is always linked also to imports. So both countries have similar, if not larger, import numbers because growing economies do two-way trade. So I agree with my friend Mr. Barkat. We will be aspiring for very large outcomes from the free trade agreement, rapid outcomes, and we should aspire for a $30 billion, $40 billion in the next 5 years, and look in the next decade to grow at least 10x to about 65, $70 billion.
Amen. Actually, one more thing I think which is relevant, and Mr. Goyal mentioned, we would like to see Israeli entrepreneurs and businesses invest in India, invest in local marketplace, so that Israeli-related companies, the Israeli government is willing to chip in and help at least be able to raise money, to raise a significant amount of capital to deploy in India. It's in our best interest, and I know this is very important for India, the investments made by Israeli-related companies. So we're working on a concept of, okay, if you have, you're going to be working in India, let's see how both governments could help raise more capital and make those investments worthwhile, and sort of share a bit of risk to make this successful.